2, 1. Hey, Jimmy Murphy here, and welcome to another episode of On the Road with Cara. This week, we're going to discuss the Friendship 4, which has been an absolute amazing experience for all involved, and it continues to be something that people look forward to, and there's going to be some big news coming from that. And joining me to discuss that, of course, is the owner of the Cara Group Travel, Sarah Stanton, Steve Thornton of the Belfast Giants, who takes care of things over on that side. And then UMass-Amherst coach and national champion Greg Carvel join us, since his team did take part in one of the Friendship Fours. So we'll get his experience from that as well. But welcome, guys. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jimmy.
That's great. And Steve, how's things over there in Belfast right now?
Very good. Very good. We've had a good start to the season so far. We're in our preparations for our final Champions Hockey League game. Got a big one tomorrow night against the Czech team. If we win, we have a chance of qualifying into the next rounds, which is something we haven't been able to do before, and just excited to be playing again.
Good stuff. And of course, I mean, I've known some people that have worked with your hockey team in the past and just everything that goes over there. If you could just give us a quick background on the hockey scene there, and then we'll get into how you connected with Cara Group Travel.
Sure. The Giants were formed back in 2000, a few years after they signed the 1998 Peace Pact. This site was built, the Odyssey Arena at the time, for the people in Northern Ireland for science, sports, entertainment. And the Giants came into a country that generally has sports that is kind of one side or the other over here, and became a neutral sport. So from day one, they picked a neutral color. They didn't discriminate against race, religion, social class, gender. And the people in Northern Ireland took to it. So despite only having one permanent ice rink on the whole island of Ireland, so no real foundations for the team, we're at a point now 23 years later where we're averaging 6,000 people a game, winning a lot of trophies, and just having a lot of success. And it's the way that we kind of positioned ourselves in the local community, more so than anything else.
That's great. It's awesome. And Sarah, I'm wondering, how did you guys connect?
Well, first of all, I didn't myself never knew there was an ice rink on the island of Ireland, let alone a professional hockey team. So we got involved with sports travel was just growing a lot anyway. And there was the connection with sort of Boston or New England and Belfast. And I've been going to Belfast ever since I was a child. So I had quite a few connections there myself. So when we realized that there were people traveling to Belfast to watch ice hockey of all things, which was a new thing, we thought we have to get involved. We wanted to be a part of something very unique. And to Steve's point, I mean, I grew up, seeing the history and the divide. So to go to a Giants game where everyone is just obviously rooting for the Giants side, it was amazing. So it was a new time and great excitement for Northern Ireland.
That's great. Yeah. And I mean, listen, I've been covering the Bruins for a while, and I covered their Stanley Cup season when they started the season in Belfast there. And as we were just talking about off the air, Sean Thornton, former Bruin, has some Belfast connections there. But I unfortunately didn't make it over there, but it sounds like just an amazing time. I'm wondering, Steve, as these talks started to progress with Sarah and you guys started to kind of put this together, how did it finally take off?
Well, that's actually where it started, when the Bruins came in 2010, and they did win the Cup that year, which is another, I suppose, luck of coming to Belfast. But on that traveling party was Dana Skinner, who was at the time the AD of UMass Lowell, and Peter Roby, who was the AD of Northeastern. And they met our CEO, Robert Fitzpatrick, who is an inspirational guy. Like, he's just like one of those go-getters. And they started talking about like college hockey coming to Belfast. And Robert, who was kind of just getting used to hockey, because like the trust got involved a few years after that. He didn't know what college hockey was. He didn't know how big it was in North America. So like the conversation started, but like they hadn't progressed much. And then when I came back, I was fortunate that I'd been playing at Boston University in the early 90s. I've been involved in bean pots and national championship games. I know how big the sport is. And I kind of sparked it again, I suppose, in conversations with Robert. And we flew out to Boston to have conversations. We ended up booking the Parkman House in 2014, inviting, I think, about 10 colleges and some heavy-hitting politicians talking to them and the commissioners and telling them that we wanted to bring essentially a version of the Beanpot to Belfast. And they said yes. And then we looked at each other and said, okay, how are we going to do this? And we managed to do it fairly quickly. We pulled it together with the help of a lot of partners and people like Sarah. And then the buy-in of all the programs that came, like the Coach Carvel and the way they travel, like it made it a lot easier for us.
And Sarah, you've run plenty of trips over to Ireland and plenty, just you see what it does for people to experience that culture over there. And then I'm wondering, is that what attracted you to what the idea Steve had as well?
Absolutely. I mean, I think travel is just is an education, no matter whether you're going on a vacation as a family. And we started to see the impact it had on the families that traveled with the teams, with the athletes. To talk to these young athletes when they're there, if they're walking around Belfast and they hear the history, it's unique for them. And also, college athletes work really hard. And so they don't get much of an opportunity to do overseas travel or to do kind of study abroad like maybe other college students do. So that's something that attracted me, that if they were going to go, we wanted to make sure that they got the best experience they possibly could, in addition to, having a great event at the ice hockey, but just also to take a bit of the culture with them, when they came back. So. And it's our top event of the year. Like everybody loves it here on the ground, the airlines even, though that we have moments with them, but everybody gets excited and they know about it.
I hear. Coach, your team went over there, and I'm wondering when you were preparing them to go over there, was that kind of the message you gave to them too? I mean, obviously you want to win these games, you want to succeed on the ice there and have a successful hockey experience. But what was the message you were giving to the kids as you prepared for the trip?
Well, I've been fortunate. I've gone twice. I've been at UMass my 8th year. My first year we went, and it was outstanding. But going back a second time, we were able to adjust and make it even better. And like any experience, to me, it's always about personal connection. If you have personal connection and experience, it multiplies. And that's what the case was last year, exceptionally well. The people that we've met there are so accepting and friendly and welcoming. Our first year, our chaperone for the event was a gentleman named Brian Waters, and we fell in love with him. And we didn't even realize he's a Catholic priest because he was never in his uniform. Brian comes and visits us every year. He flies over here, spends time with us. So we were excited to get back last year. Our bus driver was the best. Like, our players wish that he was our bus driver over here. He was just the friendliest, funniest guy. Everything that we did, any interaction that we had with people over there was just very memorable. And so our message is let's use this opportunity to have a great team bonding, get to spend time with each other. We don't have to worry about classes. We're gonna do things that you're never gonna do again in your life. The Giants Causeway and certain different things that you do are just spectacular. Everyone really grateful for the opportunity, and it's an outstanding tournament. The hockey's great. The energy around it is outstanding. The people are wonderful. I think Steve gave me some Belfast gin too, which was the cherry on top of the whole thing. So I wish we could go more often. It's kind of 4 or 5, 6 year wait in between, but last year's was very memorable. I loved it, and I can't say enough about it.
And had you been to Ireland before then?
Yeah, I went on my honeymoon.
Okay. That's how ironic.
So I've been 3 times, two times, one with my wife and 2 times with my hockey team.
That's great. Sarah, I'm sure one of the biggest thrills of your job is hearing that, or hearing a testament like that. What has it been like to not only hear Coach say that, but pretty much everyone involved seems to really want to go back every time they go?
Well, certainly I think people who haven't been before, once they go, they do want to go back. The one thing we found too with those that travel with the teams, whether they be parents, alumni, it's an excuse for them to travel. It's funny, Ireland is on a bucket list for most people. So when they hear, not only are they going to go to one of the places that's on their bucket list, they're going to support their team on top of everything else, or their school that they went to. That just adds a whole more exciting element to everything. So, and for us, it's very important, the partnerships, like Coach just said, everybody pulling in the same direction. So it's really like if the travel was awful or very inconvenient, and it can be, if things didn't work or we work so well together, between my team and Steve's team and the schools, but we really all work together to make it the best possible experience it can be. And so, things do happen. Sometimes the bus breaks down, whatever happens, or a flight's delayed.
Tell me a couple of those stories.
I have a lot of stories, but even with that, it's all about, we're all there together. No matter what will happen, someone's got your back, and I think that makes this tournament very special.
Well, there's going to be more of it coming, and I'm sure you'd like to tell our viewers about that as well.
Steve, I leave that to you. It's very exciting.
We're very excited to be able to make an announcement coming up here in early November of the future of the Friendship Four. We had a bit of a blip here during the pandemic where we had to stop doing it on an annual basis, and we're keen to get back to more tournaments, both for the men and the women. So we've got Princeton and Providence coming this January, the women's teams, and we're very excited to host them again. We've had 2 Friendship Series tournaments in the past. We've had 6 total Friendship Fours, and we're going to be having another one in 2024. And we've got tournaments lined up beyond that as well. So we're super excited with the quality of the teams that we have coming across, and we can't wait to see college hockey back in Belfast. For me, it's extra special, I suppose, because I being a college athlete way back in the early 90s, like I remember these types of events. I remember playing in the Beanpot, and also the back then it was a Great Western Freeze-Out. I don't know if they do it anymore, but I'd never gone to the West Coast like that in the U.S. before. I'd never had a spring break as a college student. Coach Parker made sure that we were under wraps pretty tight, like for the athletes there. So I didn't get the overall college student experience. I got the great play for a great organization in terms of being a college athlete. So I think this ticks kind of both boxes for the student athletes coming across, and that it's not just a hockey tournament. They come for a week. They get to experience the life over here. It's a bit of a recruiting tool, I think, for some of the universities, if they could get it into their calendar early enough. And for us, we're an organization that has built a team that has been dependent on education. We've had 60 plus Belfast Giants graduate with master's degrees here in Belfast. So it is an absolute shop window for the city, the people, the rink, the coming to play in Belfast in the future. And we're in double digits now of players that have played in the Friendship Four to come played for us on the Giants.
It's great. Coach, before we let you go, I just want to ask, when you go over there and you start to see the hockey culture developing there, what did you think of it?
Well, the one part I enjoy is going to the schools. We've done that both times, and educating and learning, how much or how little the kids know about the sport, and demonstrating some things and interacting with them is a fun part of it. But I think you've got the right guy in charge. I'll always be you guy. When we're there, he does an outstanding job of hosting. He's visible. He's always interacting with us, and you can tell that he's doing that throughout the community. And when you're going around town and you tell people you're there to play hockey, they know what hockey is. So just random people in the street. So he's made an impact. The Giants have definitely made an impact, and I think it's just the whole idea of being a neutral sport and how it's played out over 20 years, and now you're taking it to another level with the college hockey. It's spectacular, and it's high praise to everybody involved.
That's a great point too. You said about the kids going to school too. So I guess it kind of teaches them a lesson of how much they can be an ambassador of the school. I mean, of the sport as well, when they're in a situation like that. So it just seems, and I look forward to going on one of these soon. But it seems like for everyone involved, it not only promotes the sport of hockey, but it's just life lessons and experiencing that. So, Sarah, before we go here, what can our viewers look forward to? We mentioned you have some big announcements. How excited are you to get this going again?
Oh, we can barely hold back. November 2nd is when the announcements are going to be made in Boston. So the sooner it gets here, the better, so that we can just go crazy all together. Already have, it's so funny. When I was in the last year when we had the was really, really exciting event. Absolutely, that coach was at also. And even now we have people in Belfast who are saying, when's the next one happening? When's the next one? So I think, whereas maybe when it started off, it was hard to get, maybe necessarily fill the arena. Now you'll be lucky to get a ticket. Things are going.
That's great.
So
That's great.
By coming to have that experience as either the athletes or the friends and family, or even if you're just a hockey nut, it's the best place to go and enjoy an experience you'll never find anywhere else.
That's perfect. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys all taking the time to join us here, and we look forward to that announcement. And again, I look forward to taking part in this in the future. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right.
Thanks,
Jimmy Murphy here on the road with Cara. We'll see you next time.